So what's up, everybody? Y'all know how I like to do. It's you can leave your. I was about to say, just you good. I'm glad you got a straw. So, Kim got that loud ass coat. She gonna hear
Courtesy
it.
of right on cue.
She gonna petty. Let me see if I can find her something.
How am I petty though?
You already know how you petty. You know why you petty.
I'm not though. That's petty.
You know why it's petty.
No, it's not.
I want to know.
You got to come back for a whole nother session to get that kind of juice.
That's an off-air conversation.
We try to keep this one all professional and no cussing and things of that nature. So what's up, everybody, man? Welcome back to another What You Mean podcast for an Industry Monday. I am your boy, your host, LaCheston, and you're rocking with...
I'm your host, Kim. Hey,
All right. So today, man, we have a phenomenal black woman in the building here today to tell you a little bit about herself, what she does, what she contributes, and of course, y'all know we're gonna turn the mic over to her so she can introduce herself.
Hey, yes, girl. Hey, girl. What's
Hey,
good?
girl. Well, thank y'all for having me. Well, my name is Lavinia Holiday. I gave my whole government name.
That's okay.
That's cool.
Jeez. But some of y'all may know me as V.Monet Holiday.
V.Monet.
V.Monet. You see how it just rolls off your tongue?
Yeah, that sounds kind of sexy. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yes.
Let
V.Monet.
me get my Bravo. What it called? Bravo, right? So I can get my voice right so it sounds good.
Yeah,
No.
so V.Monet Holiday on social media, and I'm the founder of Pose Bazaar Foundation. It's a nonprofit here in Birmingham where we specialize in the creative arts, so for fashion, art, music, and education for the youth in underprivileged and underserved areas. So throughout the year, what we have is different events to raise money for scholarships and grants in support of other nonprofits outside of our area in places where we can't reach. So we're basically helping them further along their missions as well.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So do you know Devin Franklin? Not Devin Franklin. What's Devin's last name? Devin Frazier. Do you know her by chance?
Unless I see her face, most likely.
Have you ever heard of an organization called I See Me Inc.?
No.
Okay.
But I do know Devin Franklin, so shout out to him and Megan Good.
We have another petty person in the building. She's officially
I
checked
wasn't
in.
trying to be I wasn't though.
I'm glad y'all sitting on that side.
Oh, you know
I'm glad
what?
y'all on that side
It's
of
all
the
good.
table.
You're not gonna come for my girl.
But
You're not
nah,
gonna
man.
come for this. Anyway.
Honestly, like with what you just told me, like your mission and your vision is for your foundation. And I'm not highlighting anybody else on this platform that we're sharing with you today. It's just when we think about the culture, when we think about networking, rubbing shoulders inside of La Pic Visual Studios, like everybody that come in here, we don't want you to leave and not leave with something that you didn't have. That we want you to leave with something that you didn't have before you walk away. So in cahoots with what you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? What Devin does is she started a foundation called I See Me Inc. And basically what it does is it caters to basically the literacy of black people. You know what I'm saying? Like their bottom line is stopping the pipeline to prisons. Because, the majority of people in prison have like a 4th, 5th grade reading level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she encourages the youth and kids to read books where they see themselves.
Yeah.
So the only books they push out are authors that you're going to see a black little girl in a book or a black little kid in a book or a black dad or black mom. So as far as the arts go and things that you're doing, I definitely think that y'all will probably make a dynamic duo in whatever y'all decided to do. So I just wanted to make mention based on what you just shared with me that your foundation is doing.
No, understood. I would love to meet her.
So what
connect
kind of
us.
what kind of and I had to kind of butt myself out sometime, you know what I'm saying? Because I go in interview mode because I just be wanting to know. And I'm learning. Each one of our podcasts is going to get better. We're going to be better. And I had to like slow down a little bit and be like, "Hey Kim, you got some?" So you know,
He be on the go.
I just
Yes, girl.
for real. Like I do. Once I start going, I'll be going because I be wanting to know.
Yeah.
So you know, are there any recent events that you can tell us about that you've had, or any recent things that's going on that's directly benefiting what you're trying to do in terms of your foundation?
Well, we started in 2017,
Okay.
but we wasn't a nonprofit; we was a for-profit, and we did like a test run
Okay.
At the BJCC with Don Rashard, who used to be with like Danny DeCane and Dave Dirty Money.
Okay.
So we did that just to see how it would go. We had great reviews. We sold out.
Nice.
But while getting ready for the next show, life happened. I went through some things, and I was literally on my way out of Alabama, and I was praying to God. I'm like, Lord, where do you want me to be? Like, where do you want me to go? I was like, I have a decision to make because I have a 17-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
She does.
My son graduated this year.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, so at that time, I was like, I'm ready to leave, basically. And I found out later through therapy that I was just like running from some problems and
Right.
stuff. So
Shout
literally,
out to the therapy.
yeah,
Man. We gotta shout out to
we
the
need
therapy.
therapy.
Hello.
And I was like, Lord, I need you to answer now, because I made plans with my refund. I was like, I'm gonna be out of here.
Right.
Deuces, I don't care if I know nobody. And I go on Instagram, and I see Pastor, what's his name? The one dating Shawnee O'Neal. Keon, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm scrolling through, and that little 1 minute snippet said, I was going back home to Florida, and the snippet said, somebody right now trying to decide they want to move back to Florida. He said, if you're going to move to Florida, you're going to lose your kids. And I was like, it was like right behind what I just prayed, and God told me, you have purpose here.
Right.
So I stayed. So from that time, from 2017, I literally had to go through battles of what will people say, worrying about what other people gonna think and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, Lord, you gave me this vision. This is way bigger than me.
Right.
Way bigger than my finances and everything. So if you gave it to me, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and you're gonna use me as a vessel. I'm here. And I literally had to take a hiatus. And I struggled with becoming a nonprofit or staying a for-profit. And during the for-profit time, I couldn't get anything moving. I couldn't get any responses or anything. But the minute I listened to God and put that application in for a nonprofit, when I tell you things started moving. So now, when I felt like things was going to get, popping, COVID hit. So I had to put a halt on the stuff that I was planning. Now, at that time, I'm now doing it.
Right.
So now we're, things have kind of getting back to normal. Now we have events coming back up.
Okay.
So during that time, since 2017, I didn't do anything after that one show. I've been just focused on hearing God and following wherever he's guiding me to make sure that I'm doing this the way that he wants me to do it, because it's not about me.
Gotcha.
It's about, giving back. And during that time with therapy, he made me see myself and made me understand why I went through the things that I went through. Made sense of my childhood leading up. So now it's like, when we talk about children in underprivileged and underserved areas, for me, it's not just the young black kids, because you have kids in the country who technically they have big houses and stuff, but they still don't have access to some of the art programs that the kids that's in these urban areas, they don't have those same programs as well.
Facts.
And I went to predominantly white schools my whole life. And even I lacked proper arts programming because it's all traditional. I wanted to do more. I wasn't allowed to do more. And I still suffered. I was still I went through a lot. Depression, I'm like, I just want to do more. They never gave the opportunity to do more. It was just, this is what it is, this is what we're going to stick to. So going through all of that, I was like, I'm going to do and provide for the kids that are in these schools too, because even they lack.
All right.
Yeah, even a lot of white ones too. A lot of people don't understand that, because it's like, oh, well, they go to a white school. A lot of these kids literally be dang on, they're depressed because it's like their parents, for whatever reason, I don't know, they can't get them to certain things. They don't have the access. So the only thing we're stuck with is learning about the Baroque period throughout, and the Renaissance and all that stuff. We're learning about the same thing over and over and over, and there's no access. So it's like that's my definition of underprivileged and underserved as well.
It almost sounds like you're trying to develop a curriculum that the state will be taking on at some point in time to incorporate in the school systems.
I received that. For real. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
because I've been told that they was like, so who you doing this for?
Like your why?
Yeah, my why.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm doing it for underprivileged, underserved. They was like, so in these areas? I was like, no. Like, in these areas, they was like, well, try this area first. So when I tried, I couldn't get a response from city council. I couldn't get a response from anybody. And it's like, well, I'm trying to do it in y'all communities, but y'all not really responding to me. Y'all not, no email, no text, no nothing. So I was like, well, I'm going to go back to my original, which is really God's idea. He's expand. So once I honestly started following him and following his plans, started getting responses, things started moving. It was just like whoosh, just like a straight go. So I was like, okay, I see you. I see you. So this is what you want me to do. So I'm doing it.
And that's when things start pointing back to that more so that quote unquote saying of it's not really what you know, but it's about who you know. Like, what I'm saying? As much as I hate to say it, like, we gonna take our hat off to God because we know we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for him. Like, I mean, that goes without being said. I mean, when you get around the church folks, you have to make sure that you say it, because if you don't say it, they feel like you don't feel like that way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying all that to simply say that at the end of the day, you got to start, we have to start putting ourselves in rooms and rubbing shoulders with the necessary people that can push the agenda. Yes. And as much as I hate politics, it's part of life, and you got to learn how to play it. Yeah. Especially with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know how to play politics, it's like you may have a little bit of success, and once that success hit, it's like we stay in that place. Yeah. It's because we don't know the next person that we need to know that can be like on the golf course on Sunday, drinking cognac. Like, hey, I met this such and such person. They got this going on. I would love for you to meet them. Yeah. And now you're meeting somebody that you probably never would have met. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so. And again, and that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got our little bit of listeners. We got our little bit of subscribers right now. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't going to start creating content. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate that you're here today. You want to know how I tell you? You want to know why? Why? Because we just talked about a series that we're going to do in May and in June. Like, your story is passionate for what you're talking about and how you're telling it. Like, you would have made the perfect mompreneur.
Because she is.
In May. Like, seriously, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll definitely come back.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'll definitely come back. Yeah.
So
speaking of that, because, you said, I know that you're a mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You talk shop, like, off camera and everything. So how do you balance everything with being a mompreneur?
And that's our go-to.
Your kids are involved in extracurricular activities as well. Because I know we talked about your daughter being in LA recently. So how do you balance everything, girl?
Oh, my gosh. So thank God for my mother.
Right.
Because if right now it's just me and her and my children, it's us here. All my family is in Florida. If it had not been for my mom, like, that's my support system. Yeah. And mom, for real, like, because if it was just me, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here talking to y'all. Right, and that's just real. Like, that's like, I would not be here, because there have been times when I wanted to pull out my hair, my lashes. At one point I did, because I was so stressed out. But I was just like, how do they do this? Yeah. Like, you have to have a strong support system. God just has been keeping my mom, let me not say healthy. She's healthy. God's been keeping us. Right. I think that's the best way I could say. He's been really keeping us and keeping my family to get us through the hard times, to get us to this point now, and he's still continuing to do so. Right. So that's how I'm able to truly balance and just making sure that whatever my children are doing is what they want to do, not what I want them to do. Right. So it makes it better. It makes it easier for me, because my son, he does football. My daughter is, she's acting and dancing, and she does like modeling on the side and stuff. But that's everything she wants to do. But I'm able, with this my handy dandy calendar, I'm able to just really look at everything and be like, okay, this is what I can do. So really, just by the grace of God, His strength, keeping me focused, keeping my mom in good health, keeping myself in good health, and just really positioning us to where I can put my kids in different activities and stuff, and I could make sure I'm able to do what I need to do. He's put people in my life, my wonderful assistant, Royal Cromwell. He has the Royal factor on him. He does modeling classes and stuff for models and stuff. He's amazing. But Lord blessed me with him since, I think, 2017. He helped me with my show, and I've called him back ever since because he was just that great, great of an assistant. So having good people in your life helping you balance that. It is. We just talked about that this morning, didn't we, Jay? Yep. The two nods. Yeah, we just talked about this morning.
I'm trying to finesse him right now. Swear to God.
You have to have people that will stand in agreement with you with your vision.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to do. That your team makes such a big difference.
Yeah, and I don't shade. I'm not. I don't want people to think my other team members. I want them to think that I'm not appreciative of them because I am. Mm-hmm. However, Royal has really been with me every step of the way, and I appreciate the people that have come and that have gone. Because at some point, they still help me, so I'm not going to ever take that away from them. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I'm able to balance stuff and just really, honestly, seeking God in everything that I do to make sure that what I'm doing is exactly in His will. Right. So
I mean, we can. So with everything that you're saying, okay, I'm gonna do this, and it's probably gonna be frowned upon because I really be on this platform talking crazy. I be cussing, carrying on, smoking
I do too.
hookah,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm working on it every
smoking
single
hookah
day.
on camera, drinking on camera, talking about poom poom and everything else. That's but because when I said it on camera and I played it back the next day, I told the Kim, I said I can't say that no more, Kim. She was like, "What you mean?" I was like, "It just sounds awful coming out of my mouth." You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it however we want to talk about it, but I can't do it. The reason I'm saying that is because I want to share this with you real quick. So I often allow or let people in and let them know that at one point in time I was in ministry. You know what I'm saying? And I seen you fumbling, trying to find the exact words that you wanted to kind of sort of, put the perspective of the relationship and the bond that has been formed between mother and daughter that is actually allowing for you to be able to get something through, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So the first book that I read when I was in my master's program for public administration with the concentration in nonprofit management, the first book I read, they referenced the Bible in the first chapter of the book. You know what they talked about? What? They talked about the 12 disciples. They talked about how Christ delegated. You know what I'm saying? There was delegation. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time when that delegation comes, you see people that'll serve and that'll help because they understand the vision, they understand the call. Yeah. Most of all, they understand the calling. Just because you have a calling don't mean that you're in a pulpit. Just because you have a calling don't mean that you're wearing a hat because you're a first lady. Just because you're a calling don't mean that you're singing a solo in the choir stands. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You can have a calling and be sitting in the back just because you want to be in the midst. It's a difference when you're in the midst of people. You know what I'm saying? Because the book says, when two or more gather, I'll be there with you. Yeah. So if you're telling me the type of connection that you and your mom got, that's why your stuff is getting through. You know what I'm saying? Because when you actually pray, your prayers are getting heard. Like for real. There's another story, and I don't want to reference to it because I don't really know it in depth. But there are definitely books about just the women in the Bible. If you just look at them, man. Like my pastor preached a message one Mother's Day. He says there's never been a woman in the Bible that called on God for anything and they didn't get it. And I want you to think about that.
I am.
Google the characters, the people that are women-wise in the Bible, read their story, and whatever they requested of God, they never not got it. that always got it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Really good
if you
point.
aligning yourself that type of way to say that this is what I'm going to get and I'm getting it because I'm speaking into existence, I'm seeing it because God has opened my eyes for me to see it. See, a lot of people say they see stuff, but they're not looking through the right eye to be able to see it. You see what I'm saying?
That makes a difference.
So that's why, you know what I'm saying, even when I be going through in this studio, like I think that the nowadays angel that God has put in my life, and it's not to pull on her toe to nothing, has been Kim. You know what I'm saying? We literally talk about everything. It don't matter what's going on, you know what I'm saying, friendship, relationship, businessship, it don't matter. We talk about it, you know what I'm saying? And for a long period of time, when I started this journey by myself, I didn't have an outlet, you know what I'm saying? Because I started to rebel against different people for different reasons because I thought that they should have been there. But during those seasons, God will show you who's supposed to be where and what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
If it's something that you're supposed to have, He'll sustain you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There.
kinda scared me a little bit.
Don't you start mashing that
give me a
button, man. Do not start mashing that button,
You
man.
gotta give me a warning before you do
I'm
that.
over here preaching.
Because
Y'all
I'm
ain't
like,
shouting loud enough.
I'm all, I'm focused and stuff, and then you gonna come with the little applause in the ear.
I really didn't want
Come on.
to make it come out as if it's preaching. You know what I'm saying? But
it don't
I had
sound.
somebody the other day to tell me like their mom was dealing with a preacher, and she was like, "I really don't like the Negro because he don't practice what he preach." And I was like, "Well, let me tell you something. Do you know what his responsibility is?" She was like, "What you talking about?" His responsibility, no matter his lifestyle, no matter what he do, is to preach the unadulterated truth. So just because he's not doing it or living it, don't mean that he can't get up in the pulpit and tell the sheep what is truth. I'm not condoning or saying what he's doing is right, but his responsibility, his spiritual responsibility, is to tell the people the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's at the end of the day when I'm put in a midst of people that have a spiritual foundation and they can receive something spiritually, I don't mind giving it to them because I am who I am. I know now, being 37 years old, that I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna live how I want to live. I don't live the different lifestyles. But when it comes to you, the only thing I want to say after that long spiel, keep doing what it is that you want to do, because it's already been signed off on. Like it's just about connecting the dots right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I appreciate it.
look forward to the next storm, because on the other side of the storm is sunshine. Like you know what's coming. Like you know something is going to happen for you. So you're expecting the enemies. You're expecting the naysayers. You're expecting the no's. You're expecting for the doors to be shut. But my thing is, when somebody shuts one door, I'm going to find a way to go around it. I'm going to find me a window, a crack, or something like that. I don't care if I got to slide a piece of paper under the door. Somebody going to hear what I got to say.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
all I want to do is give it to you and say, just keep doing
And I
what you're doing.
receive that.
That's what's up, man.
Yes.
That's
Even
what's
like she and I used to, just to give y'all a little backstory and context. V and I used to work together. Okay.
Where?
I'm not
not
going to
finna
disclose
say,
that. We're not going to disclose that.
What?
We're not.
We
Yeah,
don't
we're not
speak
going
of
to. We're
that
not going to
place.
disclose that.
We don't speak
No,
of
like
that
seriously, we're
place.
really not. But
Now I need my cup, man. Golly.
here you go. You can have some water. It's holy water. But,
So we need it at that
but
place.
she and I used to work together, and some of the stuff, y'all, Jesus, oh Shabbat, some of the stuff, that girl, because some of the stuff that she and I just experienced and saw there, just presently at the same time, we were like, what in the world? So we really like clung together just to get through the day. Like I would come literally, like, where is V? Just where is V? And just as she and I got to know each other, and she's just telling me all these things that she's been through and just everything that she had just going on, I was like, I like her. Like I was like, oh, I love her. Just because she was just always just so encouraging and just inspired. Girl, like you would give me some gems at work, like, and I'd be like, Lord help me, because I want to pull my edges out. They're already not that long, but anyway, so
I'm weak.
and it just kind of just circling back around to like some things that you shared to me about like Pose Bazaar. I know you also told me that you are a designer.
Oh yeah,
as
I forgot to
well.
mention. I'm sorry.
And-
I was getting
I get lost when I be talking about Pose Bazaar.
And I had no idea until I saw you post recently about Camille Anthony. So for the people who don't know, spill the tea, girl. What is Camille Anthony? Who is she? And What's coming with that? Because I know you told me that you have a model call. So what is Camille Anthony?
So Camille Anthony is my baby. It's my swimwear line.
Okay.
I specialize in swimwear. Although I will design like ready-to-wear clothing. I love the challenge of what I can do with a little piece of fabric.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Camille Anthony. That's actually named after my children. I put their middle names together. So Jada Camille and Jamar Anthony. I wanted to make it personal.
Dope.
So
That's dope.
Camille Anthony. That's where I come from. But like the Camille Anthony woman is someone who I took. You know, when people say, "Oh, that's somebody's a chameleon," it usually has a negative tone behind it.
True.
But I basically kind of like off of how I like to dress. Like I'm gonna always be me, but I like to explore different, styles.
Yes.
So whatever I wear, whether one day I want to be, bohemian, whether I want to be, biker chick or conservative, I'm still me. Like
Right.
the clothes don't make me. I make the clothes.
Make the clothes.
Right.
So it's really the woman who just wants to be herself and not be put in the box and want to try different styles and still feel like she can do this without sacrificing
Who she is. Yes.
So that's the
Gotcha.
Camille Anthony woman, yeah.
Yes.
That's what's up.
So
man.
when is this launching? When is this coming?
Oh my gosh, so I may have to push that back.
That's okay.
I may have to push it back just because when I got my samples,
Mm-hmm.
that meeting today,
Yeah.
me and Crystal, we were hurt. But yeah, I'm thinking about, I still want to do probably like a soft, just a viewing in May.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still considering May 14th for it. But yes, I am looking for models, fit models. No experience necessary.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what size you are, because I design for the curvy girls.
You be quiet.
I design for the tall ones too.
Thank
Listen,
you.
so I got.
I do men's as well. Y'all gonna model for me? Jay?
I ain't got it in me. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I'm the guy on the other end of the camera. Like,
Jay said, I have my lane, and I'm gonna stick beside it.
Rihanna done
White
opened
face.
that up for y'all
Listen,
fellas.
With Savage X. You don't want to be part of Savage X Fenty?
I do whatever Rihanna want me to do.
I'm weak. You ain't have to come with the bar.
Get out.
I love what you just said about no matter what you put on, you define it.
Yes.
Because number one, I was in a modeling troupe when I was at Troy.
Okay.
And that's when I learned about fashion and really got in depth on the self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, them women made me feel like it was essentially okay as a man to go in a place and get your feet and your hands done.
Yes, it is. My dad does that.
The women they taught me what blotting was. They taught me about the proper draws that are supposed to be worn for women. Because when I would go places with these girls, they literally would sit around and talk about everybody that walked past. You know what I'm saying? Because they were obsessed with clothing, fashion, how you presented yourself. And one of the presidents, well, she was one of the founders. I won't say the president. The motto for them was fashion is an unspoken language. So when you speak well. And when you said that, it just made me think of that. So I heard you say something about sample pieces.
Yes.
So I want to go back there, and I heard you say that you design and do for everybody. So are you designing and sending it off, or are you designing, then sewing it and then sending it off so that they can mass produce it? Like, what's your process with that?
So I actually self-taught I taught myself how to sew.
Really?
Yeah.
See, people like you and my mama just make me like.
Yeah, I taught myself how to sew. I was forced to though.
Okay.
Really?
I was
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how. I really cannot remember how this person found out that I designed swimwear. But way back when UAB was doing their spring fashion show, someone reached out to me and said, "Hey, we had a designer drop out. Would you mind doing it?" Mind you, it was 2 weeks before the show. I said, "Yeah." I had no sewing machine, no experience. I had not one pattern. I didn't have thread. So I took my behind to Walmart and got me a Brother sewing machine for $50 and looked at the pattern. I didn't even read. I just looked at the pictures. Kind of like when you assemble something, you just look at the pictures. That's exactly what I did, and created a 12-piece collection in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Presented on the runway, and even went and had to Pet World and rented me 2 snakes.
Girl.
Live snakes. So when the finale walk with my final model, she had I still remember she had it was a deep V-neck, halter style, shiny, black snake print. I threw some chains on there because I was like, this is going to be rock and roll style. And I said, which snake you want? You want this snake or this snake? And she was like, I get this snake. So we got the snakes put on us, and we walked out like, hey, this is us. And we walked back.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's how I got started in it.
So
That was an initial question though, but
yeah, because I still need the answer because I got another question I want to ask behind there. So are you gonna address it?
Yeah. So if I have to, like, my samples, but I have a manufacturer in Texas,
Okay.
in Austin, who does my samples. I have a lady who I just met with in Iowa who's doing my patterns, and the sample that I received was from a China manufacturer.
So basically, you dream it up, draw it up, send it here, then it goes to here, then it goes there. When by the time it comes back to you, it's a complete swimsuit.
It's supposed to be, yes. We go through the revisions and everything, but yeah, that's the whole goal. It's a lot when you do it by yourself, but having that team is important.
So the juices is flowing.
I see it.
I'm ready to go. Put the camera on me, baby.
Oh my
I'm ready to go.
Oh my
Y'all
God.
see me? I'm ready to go. All right. So Safari is my brand.
Yes.
All right. I want to literally team up with you.
Okay.
I want you to tell me what I need to do, and I want a swimsuit line. I want 12 different swimsuits, so I can put them on 12 different models and put it on the calendar and sell the calendar. And it'll be my brand, but inside of the tag, it'll say designed by none other than you. What's up?
So first, we need to schedule a meeting outside of the podcast so we can actually, like, talk and stuff.
Drop
You know
that
what?
bomb,
Who you
Jay.
designing for?
I can't wait. I can't wait to be like Danny Austin, be like, I'm gonna let my assistant get with you, and then we'll go from there. I'm really trying to get there. Like, that would have been a perfect
get
Danny
there.
moment. That would have been a perfect Danny moment. I can't afford you, cuz. Leave me alone. I can't afford you right now. I can't afford you. I'm gonna pay you when I get some chips.
Listen,
I ain't got no chips. I'm broke.
I'm working for free. Okay. For free. It's all good.
Who you designing for though?
But
Is it just men? Well, you said calendar, so really
yeah.
women.
So yeah, it ain't gonna be no guys. I'm the firehouse guys can stay at the firehouse.
I'm weak.
I cater to that whenever I get ready. But for me right now, like, the majority of people that I think the first, like, curvy model I'm gonna work with is gonna be next month,
Okay.
right? And she went on a dramatic, like, weight loss thing, and she's embracing her journey and stuff. Like, she spent top shit with me. I ain't even gonna lie. The women spent $1,500 with me. Like, she want to do like 4 or 5 different looks. I think we're going up in the mountains somewhere. She want to do a boudoir look. You know, she want to do all these different looks too, because she's complimenting herself. Like, to say, like, pat myself on the back. I arrived where I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? So when we was on Clubhouse 2 years ago when it first started jumping, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the photographers that I talked to, we understood that the market was changing in terms of models. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is now a demand for curvy models. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew it was real when I seen the H&M commercial with the all curvy models in it. They had the curvy model jumping off the cliff and all the other stuff walking up out the water. And every time I seen it, I was like, okay, sis, embrace who you is. And I'm like I'm on. So if you ask me right now what I would be catering to, because I would want to push the brand and get it out there, I would want to be able to network with the people that are already in my network. So I'm not, because whether you curvy or not curvy, all models treat photographers the same. If you don't already, if you don't already have an established name per se, you know what I'm saying? Like me, for instance, if I go and find a curvy model that I want to work with, and I see why I want to work with her, and I DM her to ask her to work with her, that DM is probably either gonna go all the way left, or it might be a 2 or 3% chance that she receive it and be like, okay, what you got going on?
Yeah.
So it don't matter what you look like in the modeling world, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody get money, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you small, slim, thick, curvy, whatever you call yourself, it don't matter, you know what I'm saying? Because it's curvy models right now that have hundreds and thousands and millions of followers on different social media, and they doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't like you DMing, you know what I'm saying, Brittany Renner or something like that, and hoping to get a response. You got some curvy girls that's the exact same version of what Brittany Renner is. She's just a curvy model, and she gonna treat your DM the same way that Brittany Renner would.
Yeah.
So it really don't matter like the physique. I'm only saying what I'm saying from my perspective because I know I know what's in my phone.
Right.
I know who I can hit up real quick and be like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I want to incorporate you in it. What's up? You trying to do it? You know what I'm saying? And right now, my catalog doesn't consist of curvy models.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that, look at her. There she go.
Yeah.
I mean,
You gotta-
it's about inclusivity, sir. I'm
It
just
is.
saying.
And Rihanna clearly told the
just
world, you got to be like.
It's Rihanna, though.
I know,
It don't
but
matter.
it's still, like, she really put that, like, she used her platform to really show the world that you have to be, like size exclusivity is important. You can't really move forward and still exclude average women, curvy women. Yeah. That's basically why Victoria's Secret, I'm probably speaking on it, that's why they fashion show just kind of went like blah.
For real?
Yeah.
That's
See,
exactly
I don't keep up with stuff like that. Like when I met with my first vendor, when I got my brand, the lady who does my designing of like all my artwork and my wordage is in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Swarm Mold Creative, Latoya Mathis.
Hey, Latoya.
And she does all my stuff.
Yeah.
And we finally got the wordage done. And for my sip and shoot event a couple Sundays ago, I wore the brand for the first time. So when it comes to, and I'm trying to come back and make sure that I do damage control because I don't want for the brand to get a wrong name. Like I don't want to cater to a certain demographic because that's not what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm putting a project together, you know what I'm saying? I know what I want the project to look like. Now, when I'm sitting down and having that business meeting with you and you're asking me, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Of course, I don't want for somebody to get on the website and not see something that they want to get because it's not in their size.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. If that made sense, then you wouldn't see no 2X and 3X and 4X t-shirts back here that we give our guests. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about that to me. It's about, like, I'm at a point in my career where I like for certain stuff to just be smooth because everything else is already hard enough. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now my time is valuable. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not in here working, I'm somewhere else working. If I'm not somewhere else working, I'm probably somewhere else working.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now my time is money. So I don't necessarily have the time per se that when I'm doing something that I know actually costs money, that means the people that I'm involving in it, they're an investment as well. So whatever I'm about to invest in them when it comes to my time, my efforts, my art, my eye, whatever the case may be, I need for them to be able to reciprocate that. You know what I'm saying? So I actually target certain people that I work with. I work with them for a particular reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm past the stage of just jumping in the next pretty girl DM and be like, I want to do something with you. Like the last collab that me and her just did. The reason that I jumped into her DM to work with her was number one, because she had a look that I want, but number two, she's extremely active on social media.
Yeah.
On all platforms. Like, she's always posting, doing. Hey, yeah, come on in. Let's do something. You know what I'm saying? Kim did the makeup, collab. I did the shoot, collab. She gonna go crazy with the images and do what she wanna do with them once we're done. And then when we looked at it, it was a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting what I want out of it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
It's beneficial to both parties.
Yeah, it got to be beneficial. Like, I'm not, if you know curvy models that got a platform, bro, I'm all about it.
I do.
Like just trying to grab somebody and recreate them.
I'm thinking, like, while you're talking, I'm already like, I know he gonna like this person. I know he gonna like this person. I know he gonna like this person. Like, I'm already like in my database.
Cause you know, like, when and I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna let Kim take over. Cause you know, like, when you're doing certain stuff, right? Like, if I have a curvy model comes in, she's paid for a shoot. At that point in time, she's paid me for a service. Whenever I'm shooting any woman anywhere, I don't give a damn what you look like. You're the most beautiful person in the world. I'm going to flirt with you. I'm going to get the facial reactions I want out of you. I'm going to get the emotions out of you. I want to see your body relax because a handsome black man is right in front of you talking the talk that you probably ain't heard in a couple of months, and it's just making you feel some type of way. Like, that's the dynamic that in the atmosphere that I try to create when I'm shooting, because that's what they paid me to do. You see what I'm saying? Now, when I'm working on a project that's something that I done put my money, my time, and my efforts into, and you coming in to do a collab and work with me, I ain't got time to do all that with you because you doing a job. Like, I need you to come in and do what you're supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about in terms of who I work with stuff like that. But I'm definitely interested. If that's something that you're willing to do or you're interested in do, we can sit down and
already.
We can get it in fine print. We can get it in fine print and get it together.
My mind, Jay know.
And how you know she ain't heard it though, sir?
Heard what?
I didn't.
Heard what? You can tell by a woman respond to you when you can tell she heard it. Heard it in a while, long time, short term. Didn't hear from the person she wanted to hear from. Because I'm sexy at the end of the day. I might be old, but I still look good.
Bruh, if you don't get out,
I ain't got no pot belly.
You can't be saying old because you're going to really start feeling old.
Hello.
Girl,
That's
old.
what Bishop Jake
Stop
said.
saying that.
Man, y'all better stop listening to Bishop Jakes. Yeah, I said it.
Nope.
I'm just playing.
Nope.
I'm just playing. Jakes is the Michael Jordan of preaching. That's my man. I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing.
Nah, but hey,
Get out.
I have to correct myself. Don't be saying you old because you're going to really
Thank
start
you.
feeling it. For real.
Exactly.
Man,
Your words
I
have power,
did.
sir.
For real.
Brother.
I stopped that real quick.
We said what we said. Your words have power. You're not old. You're
So
just
foundation, clothing line.
Yes.
What's in between? What are we missing? Like if there was 1 million people listening right now, what would you want those 1 million people to know?
Like just about me personally.
Yeah, like if you're selling, because you're a brand, you're a walking brand now. Everything that you do that your name is attached to, like your representation of it. You know what I'm saying? So again, if there was 1 million people listening right now, and you know with everything that we've talked about this evening, like what has not been said that you would want for the people to know?
Okay, I haven't even really.
That's what it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah,
it's supposed
I
to be
haven't
like
even
that.
thought about. I mean, honestly, just know that I'm here to leave a legacy. I'm here to keep this going.
Let your heart talk.
Because it's bigger than me. Like this ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just a vessel. So it's like, okay, what's next? So I'm working on. I have some long-term goals.
Right.
I'm gonna just put this out here because I try not to say what I'm working on, but I feel like I need to plant this seed for whatever reason. But one of my goals is to take the it really hurts my heart when I go into the Black community and see all of those elementary schools shut down. Because I used to work for the post office, and a lot of their schools is in neighborhoods, but they're up and running. And I hate going into our neighborhoods and the children, when they go outside, they don't have a place to go. Right. So that's a long-term thing. Like, I want a school. Like, I want to do what LeBron and them did.
That's dope,
I want a school.
You don't hear a lot of people say that nor do it. Like LeBron really did something when he did that. Like, how many people outside of that the Black millionaire guy who opened up the school for all males in Chicago.
Yes.
They used to do that lottery system to get into the school system. Like, outside of him, I didn't know anybody that was opening up no schools. That was you know, us or whatever the case may be. So I think if you, bruh, again, you gotta start playing the politics.
I am.
You gotta start playing the politics. Bro.
I am. I'm working on it. I am, but I really I don't want the traditional school. Yeah. Like, I love the idea behind the creative Montessori schools and how the learners, like the structure of it is very non-traditional. Yeah. But I want to also focus on the creative arts as well.
Gotcha.
A lot of the Montessori schools, they don't have a big extracurricular. They don't have a lot of those programs. So the fashion, art, music. They have those, but it's just the way they're doing it. Yeah. So I want to bring in a different kind of art programming.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So what's your niche? When you say creative art, is just, you know, is sewing and designing, is that your niche, or do you got some other stuff? We focus
on those 4: fashion, art, music, and education. So with education, it's whatever it is: financial literacy, college recruiting, like anything educational.
Gotcha.
But just fashion, whether it's production, marketing, all of that stuff for fashion, music, production, engineering. What did I leave out? Art, theater, whatever is being offered in the schools, we don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
That's our specialty. Like, I don't want to hold a workshop for them to come in and do painting because they have that already.
We got a team.
I don't want them. I don't feel like they should have to wait until they graduate high school to do certain things.
Right.
And not everybody is college material.
No.
Right.
So I would like to set them up now.
Right.
In high school. Yeah. So our focus is high school students and college students.
Okay.
To help get them there. So it's like, if you want to go to college, we'll definitely help you like with a scholarship. If you don't want to go to college, we'll help you anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I struggled with. Like, I did not want to, go to college at all. I really didn't, but I went.
Yeah.
Because, and this is just being honest, I didn't want to sit there and pay student loans without a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I went back anyways.
Right.
I went back for myself, my children.
Right.
And of course, I didn't want to sit there and pay student loans for nothing and not have a degree.
Right.
But overall, like, I'm only providing what I wish I had.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really the
And
whole,
that's one of the things that Kim came out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? When we started just talking about things that we wanted to try to make sure that the studio offers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kim came straight out the book. Like, hey, so what we gonna do for the kids?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do some camps or a couple day camps or something like that, so we can bring them in and show them this and show them that. Because at the end of the day, we do live in a day and time where you don't have to go to college, man, to be the next millionaire or billionaire. Like, I mean, you don't have to do that. And I'll be honest, bro. I think I just went to college just to say that I got that piece of paper. Mm-hmm. I was just telling them about, you know what I'm saying? Jay asked me like what I do, and I told him. I was like, but my job don't pay me for that. Mm-hmm. Like, I have an extensive background in communication and electronics with a degree in computer science. 6 classes because I dropped out to have a master's in public administration. Ooh. Like, I mean, it's like, if anybody look at that, my history professor told me this. He says, I'm in here and I'm teaching. I love it. But I'm going to tell you a secret. The only thing a degree does for you is show an employee that you have the ability to learn.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
And that's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, me.
He said that's all it does. You know what I'm saying? Because it all rolls back to, who you know. You know what I'm saying? I work with people right now that don't have nowhere near the level of intelligence that I have, and they work right beside me. You know what I'm saying? Just because of who they know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely commend you on everything that you've accomplished thus far. Again, keep pushing. You are definitely a gem, shawty. Like, I really feel like you're a person we need to keep around and make sure that, we continue to make sure that you're okay and we can support you in any kind of way we can. So do you have any events coming up that you actually want to pub? Because I know you told me you put everything on hold because of COVID, so y'all are revamping and getting everything together, though. Yeah,
actually, we have a dance workshop.
Yes, we were talking about that.
We have a.
What kind of dance?
So listen,
grown folks or children?
No, it's for the kids.
Okay.
It's for the kids. Like, yeah. y'all have y'all stuff. No, it's definitely. I cannot be him. No, this dance workshop is just for the kids, ages 12 through 17.
Yes.
Okay.
So middle school and high school students. So this workshop will be hosted by award-winning choreographer Anthony Burrell. He is. Toured with Beyonce. He was one of the creative directors with her Super Bowl performance when she was doing it by herself. He's done work with Rihanna, Riri, Prince, Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z,
J-Lo,
and honest Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige,
Mary J.
No, not Missy Elliott. He probably did. I don't know, but just a lot of his resume is extensive.
So what is the class going to consist of? Like,
his specialty is jazz and contemporary modern. He actually
has doing like ballet stuff.
No, it's jazz and contemporary.
Is completely different.
It's completely different.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Techniques may be the same, but not the same.
Not the same.
So they're doing the same like little dances stuff that we see on all the videos just to jazz music.
No. Jazz is
School me.
It's more. It's a style.
Yeah.
It's a dancing style. It's the techniques and how you move your body.
Mm-hmm. Your form,
all of that stuff. So that's what he's going to be teaching.
Who's y'all cinematographer for the event?
Kirk
Kirk who?
Jordan.
Kirk Jordan. Who is that?
J-No.
He 5? Okay, that's all that matters. He 5. Because I don't be mind calling no Negro out of their trash.
Oh my gosh.
Well, please let
I'm
me
just
know.
saying. I'm
Please
just for
let
real,
me
bro.
know.
Like,
I'ma reach out to him. I wanna
listen,
know.
I done struggled to get where I'm at. So I stand behind. What that boy Denzel said, I stand behind my product. I stand behind my product.
Well, right now we standing behind hers.
I'm trying to get a job. Leave me alone.
Right now,
I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in the house to support her product. Jay, you see something wrong with that? Kim over here throwing shots.
I didn't know no shit.
She fired off a bazooka over there. Like, yeah,
I'm just circling.
So
snap.
jazz is a style. It's a new technique. You got this
Yes.
dope guy that's coming in to do it
Yeah.
and tell the people when it's taking place and how they can register if they want to.
Yeah, so it's taking place at the Dance Foundation Saturday, April 16th at 8 a.m. until
Okay.
12 noon. And then go to our website, Pose Bazaar, P-O-Z-E, as in zoo, BAZAAR.org.
Sounds good
Yes.
to me.
There's a lot more workshops we have coming up, but y'all go on the website, sign up so y'all can know what we're doing.
And how can the people find you and look you up on social media, girl?
Oh, yeah, the V.Monet. Well, that's my website. I haven't gotten up yet, but yeah, V.Monet, V-E-E-M-O-N-E-T on Facebook, and on Instagram, _V.Monet.
Got you.
V.Monet.
The.
Heavy on
The. That's what's up, man. So I like to do this right before we end. I'm gonna ask you one more time just to kind of sort of plug everything that you just did one more time. Jay, please make sure her camera's on her when she do it.
Which one am I looking at? This one?
This is your camera right there.
Hey.
So I want you to plug yourself one more time. Tell the good people where they can find you at. Tell them your name, and then we're gonna get ready to close it out, man.
Hey, y'all. Find me on Instagram and Facebook at V.Monet, V-E-E-M-O-N-E-T. And on Instagram, again, the V.Monet. Make sure you put that underscore in between the and the V.
There you go. You got it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, V.Monet, man.
Man, I was
Of
nervous.
many platforms.
Thank you.
Yes.
She,
She was dope.
you
Listen.
did, you did.
I appreciate it. That's my first podcast.
For real?
I was nervous.
Oh, you did
Girl, I was
awesome.
nervous
You
about
did,
it. Thank
you did good,
y'all.
man.
Man.
So I'd like to thank you for coming in
Thank
and
you so much
kicking
for
it.
having me.
Kim, the MUA, thanks so much for extending an invitation to our guest on the night and bringing in a dope person. Y'all make sure y'all go and follow her. Make sure you support her. If you're in the immediate area and you heard this podcast and you heard something that can be beneficial to her cause and her mission and her vision on what she's doing, man, shoot her an email, man. Jump in her DM. You know, I'm all about people that can vibe on the same thing. Don't bring the woman no friction where you trying to come in and take over what she's doing and change and alter what she's doing. But if you can understand what she's trying to do and enhance that and empower it, definitely reach out to her, man. So without, you know, as we always do, man, on your boy Chester, man, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. If you downloaded the podcast, man, thanks so much, man. Tell somebody about it. Tell them about the content that we're doing, man. We are trying to get more creative and bring you more content, and we got some more stuff going. I haven't told Kim this, and this is going to be the first time that she is hearing it. We are adding, I'm not going to call it a segment, but we're adding a piece to our What's New. And on our What's New, we got a section in there called Spill the Tea. So the website will be up and running tonight. You can go to www.whatyoumeanpodcast.com. Go to the Contact Us block. Go down to the bottom, click on Spill the Tea. And if you got a confession or you got a funny story that you want to tell, you can tell that story right there. Me and Kim will get it. We'll review it and take it under consideration if we want to bring it onto the show and talk about it with whomever our guest is on What's New. Just to add some juices and add another conversation piece to the show, man. So like I said, we got some new stuff coming. We're trying to get it juiced up. But in the meantime, between time, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave us a comment on your boy Cheston.
I'm your girl Kim.
And until next time, y'all know what it is. Peace.